Hey everybody, it's Heather and welcome to Mystic Musings. Happy October, the best part of the year, yeah. So today, it's Friday, right? I think it's Friday. It's Friday here in my head, so we are gonna do a list video, but we're gonna do a Halloween themeless video because it's October. Did you guys know it's October? I'm so excited. So, today, we are going to do 5 brutal Halloween murders in no specific order. So first, Halloween night 2008, a convicted drug dealer in Sumter, South Carolina named Quentin Patrick heard a knock on his door. Being the paranoid man that he was, he figured it was some rival gang. Obviously, why wouldn't it have been? And so, thinking that they were looking for trouble, he grabbed his loaded, full auto AK-47 and blasted at least 30, there might have been more, bullets through his front door at these gang members. Unfortunately, they were not gang members at all, but trick-or-treaters who clearly were in a not great neighborhood. 11 of those bullets hit 12-year-old TJ Darisaw, killing him. His father and young brother were also hit, but did survive. Next, preachers. Apparently anyone can be one. So this guy had served separate prison sentences. Prison sentences for stabbing one woman and murdering another. But hey, people change. So John D. White was paroled and became a pastor of a small Michigan church. He lived in a trailer park and fell for this woman who lived a few trailers down. Sounds like it should be a Hallmark movie already, but it gets worse. He babysat for her 3-year-old grandson a lot. So when the boy's mother saw John come to the door, she didn't think anything of it. I mean, he was a familiar face. Unfortunately, he was not there to babysit or to say hello to anybody. He, on Halloween night in 2012, knocked the woman out with a rubber mallet and strangled her to death with a plastic zip tie. He then stuffed her in a garbage bag and dumped her in the woods. As if that was already not super disturbing enough, he goes back to their trailer, gets the little boy, dresses him in a Halloween costume, and then when the child's dad came to pick him up to go trick-or-treating, he had no idea what had happened. So he just came and got his kid and left, and just assumed that John was there babysitting. Oh my gosh. So when White told police that his crime was part of a fantasy to have sex with a corpse, but unfortunately he couldn't remember whether or not he had gotten to that. Yeah. Number 3. In 1974, Deer Park, Texas, a father laced his son's Halloween candy. Now, we've all heard about poison candy. We all know to inspect our things for weird little puncture wounds or strange smells or anything like that. But you don't expect that your father is going to be the one poisoning your pixie sticks. You certainly don't expect your father to be poisoning your pixie sticks because he wants to collect on your life insurance. And hopefully you don't expect your father to poison the neighbor kids too, so that he looks less suspicious. But that's what happened. Ronald Clark O'Brien was in debt, so in order to get out, he poisoned 5 pixie sticks with cyanide. Go big or go home, I guess. His plan was to kill his kid, and I guess just make the other kid sick or something, and then blame the neighbor. His 11-year-old son ate the candy and complained it tasted bitter. He then immediately pretty much began vomiting uncontrollably and was dead before reaching the hospital. O'Brien was found guilty of murder and died via lethal injection. He earned the nickname the Candyman and the man who killed Halloween. I'm not sure which came first, the urban legend of the Candyman or this guy. I think the urban legend did, but both are just super terrible. Next, Johnny Lee Garrett. This one is just, I hate people. Johnny Lee Garrett was 17 when he allegedly raped and stabbed a nun in the early hours of Halloween morning in 1981 in Amarillo, Texas. Now, his fingerprints were found all over her headboard, but there's some suspicion he didn't do it, even though he confessed to police that he did. Because even though at first he admitted to it, he then changed his story later and said that he had gone to the convent first to just burglarize the place. So if his fingerprints were there, it was just because he had stolen things. He was still convicted of murder and sentenced to death, but one prosecutor killed himself. A forensic investigator was convicted of falsifying evidence, and a convicted murderer claimed responsibility. So there's a lot of doubt about who actually did this. And I have to say, like, it's pretty weird. There was so much doubt, in fact, that the Pope begged, basically, Texas to not kill him because even he felt like he had not committed the murder. After a brief reprieve, he was executed in 1992. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that for me, though, the reason that it does seem so suspicious, and the reason to everyone else it seems suspicious, is because of the fact that, one, he said, no, I didn't do this. I just got freaked out and said I did because I knew I was guilty of something. Like, how was I going to explain that away? And then for people to kill themselves and be found guilty of, falsifying evidence, like, that would definitely give me some pause. But unfortunately, nothing can be done now as far as Garrett goes because he died 23 years ago. So, I don't know. It's a shame. If he was innocent, that's just terrible. So number one, the rest of this list really isn't in specific order, but I have to say that this one is probably the most disturbing. The Toolbox Killers. Yeah, they earned this name, honestly. That is for sure. So Lawrence Whitaker and Roy Norris got nicknamed the Toolbox Killers because they routinely used tools like pliers and hammers in their series of kidnap, rape, torture, murders of 5 teenage girls in California, 1979. The last in their string of slayings was 16-year-old Shirley Ledford. She was a hitchhiker and she was coming home from a Halloween party. They picked her up in their van, and over the course of many hours, they bound and gagged her. They smashed her elbow repeatedly with a hammer, sodomized her with pliers, and finally strangled her to death with a wire coat hanger before dumping her on a random front lawn. I cannot imagine her. I cannot imagine her family's pain, but I really can't imagine being that random person to go out to your front lawn and there's just like a dead, mutilated body. That's a horror movie. Like, that's twisted, super twisted. And even twistier than all of this, they had tape recorded the torture and murder of, and Norris was later quoted as saying, I'm going to read this verbatim, "We've all heard women scream in horror films. Still, we know that no one is really screaming. Why? Simply because an actress can't produce some sounds that convince us that something vile and heinous is happening. If you ever heard that tape, there's just no possible way that you'd not begin crying and trembling. I doubt you could listen to more than a full 60 seconds of it." I feel like that is the kind of person that even if I was a judge, even if I was a cop, even if I was a prosecutor, if I heard him say that, and I heard him say it like that, like you wouldn't be able to handle it. You couldn't listen to it. Like he's so proud of this incredible thing that he got on tape. How could you not like crawl over people to get to him and hurt him like he hurt these girls? Like, I cannot for the life of me understand that. I can't. But anyway, yes, so certainly not a happy video, but interesting nonetheless. So moral of this story, do be careful on Halloween. It is, like I said a couple times, my absolute favorite time of year. I love it, love it, love it. But that doesn't mean that crazy people aren't just as crazy, if not more crazy, on Halloween. So please be mindful, please be cautious, you know, use good sense. You all have it. And if you don't, then you should. Just keep watching these videos and get really paranoid, and you'll be golden. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a scary Halloween story, it doesn't have to be about you almost being killed, but you know, just like something scary that happened to you in Halloween, I would love to hear it. Actually, what would be really cool is if I could get like at least a handful together and do like a November 1st sort of video of just like subscriber stories of Halloween stuff. That'd be awesome. So you guys send it my way, and we will talk about it. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. And again, thank you so much for watching. Have a safe night. Bye!